Welcome to Renewed and Unfiltered, where we have conversations about life, growth, faith, and becoming the best version of ourselves without filters. I'm your host, and this space is for anyone navigating entrepreneurship, motherhood, and personal growth, all at the same time. If you ever felt like you're figuring it out as you go, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? We are back for episode 2. I know it's been a little minute trying to get this episode out, but we are going to get right into it. I hope you guys are having a great start to your day. It is Winning Wednesday. If you guys do not know who I am Ra. I am the CEO and the founder of Rebirth the Label, MHF Financials, and Renewed and Unfiltered the podcast. Okay, so if you guys do not know, we are just here today for episode 2, so we're just going to get right into it. I hope you guys are having a great start to your day and a great morning. I know it is school season. It is back to school season, I should say. I know for my daughter, my 5th grader, she is on her way to middle school today. So that's what we were doing this morning. We were getting ready to get her ready for that first day, prepping her at that bus stop and things like that. So I said, why not? Let's squeeze this podcast episode in, all right? So let's get right into today's topic. Today's topic, we are going to be talking about the rebuild, becoming the woman behind the brand, okay? Becoming the woman behind the brand. So we are going to talk about what it takes to redevelop your life, and let go of old habits and old ways and who you were or who I was, okay? Before I started Rebirth the Label, or I should say before I started RBC, okay? And if you guys do not know what RBC is or who RBC is, Rebellious Bitch Clothing, okay? That was my first baby, my first brand baby, okay? That was my first clothing brand, originated back in 2019. Started with 30 shirts out the back of my trunk, and now we are here. We are navigating all things fashion, finances, lifestyle, personal growth and things like that. And then a little after, I want to say 2022, 2023, we transitioned over into RTL. So we are going to get all into that in today's episode. So again, I hope you guys are ready. And let's get started. Let's dive right into these topics and let's get into it, okay? So the rebuild, becoming the woman behind the brand. When I first started RTL, it was a shift from Rebellious Bitch to Rebirth the Label, the evolved version, the version of me that learned from every lesson, every trial, every hurdle. In the beginning, it was just a personal reset that just made sense to shift into my business. Rebirth is starting again, Rebirth is starting again, but this time with mental notes, actual life lessons, and help. And actual life lessons that help transform you anew, where new beginnings are limitless, okay? So when I started out, I want to say, again, 30 t-shirts, and we're going to talk about that, briefly in the next part of this. But I was going through college. I was just sitting at my kitchen table and I wanted something new. So I just wanted to start something different. So for us with Rebirth the Label, that was a transition from Rebellious Bitch. Now, Rebellious Bitch, again, that was my first clothing brand. I started with 30 t-shirts, literally packaging them up in my living room, just selling them, okay? Selling them out of regular black paper bags out the trunk of my car. It was me, I want to say my cousin, her name is Sasha. She is like my sister. She's my best friend. She is my CFO of Rebellious Bitch and RTL, Rebirth the Label. So she is somebody that started with us from the beginning. Just shifting and learning how to navigate life lessons. And at that time, I was just going through college. I just had my daughter, and I wanted again to start something new. So for me, that was a way that I could have something on my own. So Rebellious Bitch was the beginning. That was the beginning of my introduction into the fashion industry. I remember dumping thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars into Rebellious Bitch when I first started. Like turtlenecks, I had track suits, I had hoodies, I had basic t-shirts, gray, black, white. I remember when I had this big order with Rebellious Bitch when I first started out. I want to say it was like my second biggest order, and it was some colored themed t-shirts of our original first drop, of our original first logo. So we wanted to have I want to say turquoise, green, a pink, and I was on my way to North Carolina to see my godmother. And it's crazy because the first vendor that was supposed to fill the order for us, excuse me, they really didn't get a chance to fulfill the order. I had got introduced to this person through a third party, and I was just learning. I was just starting out. So the whole order had got messed up. This person was in a whole other state. Again, I was in Connecticut. I was in Hartford. They were in South Carolina. And it was funny again because, again, like I just said, I was meeting my godmother in North Carolina. Me and my son was taking the trip that summer. So I'm saying to myself, like, okay, kill two birds with one stone. Like, I want to learn, like, new things. I'm researching, and I got there, and the order, I never got a chance to meet with the person. So I had sent her the money. She never met me. It was a lot of runaround, like with miscommunications and things like that. I want to say it was like a family issue, but long story short, I reached out to another vendor from somebody that I knew. And this person, they were able to fulfill the order, but that order was filled with all men's t-shirts. And when I first started, I was only selling to females with rebellious bitch. Like, ain't no man gonna walk around with rebellious bitch on their chest. So when I got this order, every t-shirt was just oversized. It was ridiculous. Like, so I had to find a way to pivot. Like, we were cutting t-shirts into crop tops. We were like cutting the top off so it has like a slouch look and things like that. Like, it was crazy. So like navigating and everything like that, like in the beginning, it was a lot. So like, yeah, definitely like lost a lot of money, lost a lot of money, learned a lot of things. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot in the beginning. Definitely was a lot. When you want something new, you have to release old ways, okay? And I always tell my closest friends, it's harder to break old habits than to learn new ones, okay? I say this all the time to my friends. It is harder to break old habits than to learn new ones because you're so used to doing something, or I should say it like this. You are so conditioned and you're so, how can I say it? Jeez, oh my God, I had it right at the top of my head. You're so conditioned and you're so, ooh, oh my God, I'm so aggravated. I hate when I get stuck like this. You're so conditioned to something, to a way, into a habit, and you're so used to doing something, or I should say toxicity. And at that time, you don't really know how to unlearn that bad habit because you're so used to doing it. So, because it's a part of your routine, it's a part of your daily life. Like that negative attitude, you're always walking around with a negative attitude. You're always speaking negatively over yourself, or have a habit of when you want to, how can I say it? You want to stop gossiping, but you have a group of friends that are always gossiping. So it's hard for you to, it's hard for you to break that habit, I should say, because you're always around that negative habit and it's always in your environment and it's always in your area. So that is something that I always say to people. Again, it is definitely harder to break old habits than it is to learn new ones. It took me years to become the woman I am today. I was put in a box, and that box was full of bad habits and traumas that made me believe that I couldn't be renewed. I had to let go of my own toxic ways to fully step into this power, and I am still releasing them. The fear of abandonment, rejection, anxiety, alcohol, and so much more, okay? Like, before, I was a mess. I was a wreck. Okay, my signature line is teen mom turned CEO. Like, I had my son when I was 15. I remember I was running around. I was chasing his father. Like, I was chasing the feeling to be accepted, wanting to be loved so much, dealing with so much toxicity and mental, physical abuse. So I was turning to things to cope, and it was negative coping habits. So again, before I became this badass CEO that I am today, this badass mom, this badass, excuse me, as I keep saying it, excuse my language, no filters. Again, remember, no filters, unfiltered. We are unfiltered here. Before I became this woman that was able to step into this power, again, excuse me, for the profanity, I had to let go of a lot of negative things. I had to let go of a lot of negative ways, and I'm still releasing them still to this day, because I'm not perfect. When I stand up in front of this camera, it takes a lot. It's going to be a lot of editing. It's going to be a lot of pulling from this video. It's a lot to get up in front of these cameras. So again, it took me a while to become this woman that I am today. And here, I stand right here in this power, knowing that in order for me to be this woman and in order for me to hold this power, I had to release negative habits. I had to release that feeling of abandonment, always feeling like I had to stay in negative situations, had to stay in negative relationships because I didn't want to be alone. I had to let go of anxiety, always talking myself out of good things in fear of something that I don't even know, in fear of something that I'm not even aware of. in fear of a situation that I created in my own mind. I had to let go of those negative things to become this woman that I am today, that is standing right here in front of you, or sitting right here in front of you, in front of this camera. So in order for you to step into like that power, sometimes you have to let go of negative habits, negative things, negative people. Sometimes it'll be your friends, sometimes it'll be your family, sometimes it may be a relationship, but only you will know when it's time for you to let those things go in order for you to become the person that you want to be, or in order for you to become the person that God has called you to be, I should say. Okay? So definitely, definitely, definitely. I jumped head first into the fashion industry while still figuring life out. An undergraduate in college, like I was saying earlier, obtaining my associates in human services. And I just wanted something, like I said, I can call my own. And I wanted to figure it out, whatever it was. RBC to RTL, a single mom, the primary parent. I just had my daughter tonight. She wasn't even a year old, and it all started with 30 t-shirts, okay? With rebellious bitch on the front. My signature symbol was a silhouette of my body. I want to say on my 19th birthday, I was standing in my hallway of that first apartment where I got the idea to create the brand and to just start a clothing brand. From navigating motherhood to choosing to become an entrepreneur showed me that there was no limits to what I could do. Okay? No limits. You see, I'm right here, and we are on Renewed and Unfiltered. My first podcast, the first season, my second episode of this podcast. This is a new vision, a new venture for me. So again, no limits. There is no limits to what you can do. Okay, there is no limits to the things and the heights that you can reach. Sometimes we just have to see other people, because for me, I had to see other people in my community. I had to see other women like myself, other moms, other six-figure CEO women that had their own business. I had to see it. Go to these networking events and say to myself, like, yo, Mel, that can be you. Like, that can be you. Like, you don't have to settle for what you have right here. And I'm not saying that what I had at that moment, that it wasn't enough, but I knew that I wanted more. And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes that's all you need to know, is that you want more and that you don't have to settle for what you have. So definitely, like, again, navigating, starting from the 30 shirts, again, I had just had my daughter. My daughter tonight, she's 10 years old. My son, Kareem, he's my first child. He's my oldest. I was just stepping into that journey of adulthood. I had just had my first apartment. I remember I was working at Macy's, and I was working at a restaurant called Carrabba's that used to be in Manchester. It was an Italian restaurant. I was working out there, and I was going to school. I was going to school for my associate's degree, and we were ending that freshman year. Undergrad, I had just put out a book. Well, me and some students in my cohort, we had just put out a book, and again, we were just navigating life, and at that time, like I said, I just really wanted more. I wanted to have something that was my own. I wanted to build something, but at the time I really didn't really understand what that was, because I really didn't come from a family like a rich family with a silver spoon. I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut. We didn't grow up in poverty. My mom did everything that she could for us, me, my brother, and my sister. I'm the youngest of three. But again, I just knew that I wanted more. Again, teen mom, navigating domestic violence and things like that. So I endured a lot. So when I started out in college, I remember it was in a sociology class. We were learning about conformity and nonconformity, and I am a rebel. Hence, rebellious bitch. I am a rebel. So that's where the first brand started from. And I learned more about what it meant, the difference between conformity and nonconformity. And I'm like, I'm a nonconformist. Like, I do not do what everybody do. Like, even though I was a statistic, ideally, but I still beat the odds. Like, I graduated high school with my son walking across stage with me. I graduated college in my associates. I am currently in my bachelor's at UHart. So again, there is no limits to what we can do. Again, I just knew that I really wanted more. Okay, definitely wanted more for myself. Daily, I ask myself, am I building a business, or am I building a life that my business can exist inside of? What am I doing daily to not only build my business, but to build my personal life as well? The person behind the brand is much more important than the person behind the product. If we don't take care of ourselves, how can we push the business? Okay? How can we push the business if we're not taking care of ourselves personally? So again, the person behind the brand is important. Your story is important. Where you come from is important. That self-development is important. That personal development is important when you're building a brand, not only a clothing brand, any brand. Because at the end of the day, how can you build something if you yourself, internally and externally, is not together? Like, you cannot build nothing on an unsolid foundation. You cannot build nothing on quicksand. It has to be solid. So we have to remember to take care of ourselves. We have to remember to pour into ourselves. We have to remember that the person, again, behind the brand is important. The person is way more important than the product. They are going to buy into your story, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you guys remember that. Make sure you guys remember that not only when you're building a brand, but when you're just out here navigating life. Don't be afraid to get on stages. Don't be afraid to tell people your testimony. Don't be afraid to speak out. Tell your story, because at the end of the day, you never know who needs to hear your story. You never know. I didn't know who needed to hear my story. And daily, people get in my inbox and they say to me, Mel, like, you're so inspiring. Like, Mel, you overcame a lot. Like, I love it. Like, I'm so proud of you. You know, whether it's real, whether it's fake, like, you know, you can tell when the energy is genuine or not. But again, there are people out here that need to hear your story. They need to hear your testimony. There is somebody like myself that is going to be watching this episode and saying, wow, like, she's a single mom. She's the primary parent. Like, yes, I'm the primary parent. Like, I navigate a lot on a day-to-day basis. So not only this podcast, I have 2 children. I have a family life. I have a career. I go to school. Like, you know, there's a lot. So the person, again, behind the brand, outside of the product, is way more important. Way more important. So definitely, we are definitely going to be back with way more episodes, way more topics, way more trends and things like that. Like, you know, just to navigate and just to talk about, you know, real life, real things, real growth without filters, okay? It is your girl, Ra, here. I am glad that I was able to dive into this topic with you guys. I hope that you guys will subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you guys subscribe down at the bottom. Just click that subscribe button. It's super easy. It will only take you a couple of seconds. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go to our Instagram as well, too, you guys, and follow us directly on IG at Renewed Unfiltered for more behind-the-scenes clips and more episodes, okay? There's a lot more to talk about. There's a lot more to do. We're going to have special guests. So definitely make sure you guys are following us. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Renewed and Unfiltered. It's your girl Ra here. I can't wait to dive into more things with you guys soon.